Snark Squad. Babes, it's Friday morning.
And before we go to work, we had to lock in.
Because, babes, we just finished Unwell Winter Games. And...
Lemon long water.
Yeah.
On deck.
Because, babes, we need to rehydrate our brains. What did we just watch?
We are activated, we are energized, and babes, we are confused.
Snark Squad, we finished all 4 episodes. And we have thoughts. But the main thought is, what the fuck even happened?
Like, what was the point? What were the rules? What did they win?
I am, in a full spiraling descent into madness right now. I woke up at dawn. I guzzled my iced oat milk latte so fast, I literally gave myself an arrhythmia.
Oh my God, same. My heart is pounding.
Right. I sat down in the dark to finish this finale, and I am genuinely questioning my own cognitive function.
Yeah, I feel like my brain is melting.
Did this actually occur in our physical universe, or did Alex Cooper just, drug the water supply?
Honestly, the drugged water theory makes more sense than whatever this format was.
Because if you sat me down a windowless interrogation room and demanded I explain the scoring system for the blue and purple teams, I would just slide the clipboard back to you and beg for mercy.
I am pacing around my apartment trying to piece this premise together like a crime scene investigator who showed up to a burglary only to find the burglars left the TV, stole the drywall, and painted the dog green.
Wait, that is the most accurate description.
I have the mental corkboard up, but instead of red string, I'm trying to connect the dots with, wet spaghetti. None of it sticks.
Literally none of it?
Was there an actual prize?
Right.
Let's talk about the prize for a second. They dangled $250,000 in episode 3.
$250,000.
Yes. And then somebody gave the wrong answer to a pop culture trivia question, and the money just evaporated.
It vanished.
It just vanished. And the cast just nodded and moved on, like they were told the catering was out of gluten-free muffins.
Vanished into the thin, sub-zero Park City air. And here is the other thing keeping me up at night. Why was the entire cast fundamentally aggressively unlikable?
They were so bad.
Yeah.
Uniformly awful.
Right. In the reality TV ecosystem, you always have archetypes. You have the messy but lovable underdog.
Yeah, one you root for.
Exactly. You have the glamorous villain you love to hate. You have the Greek chorus who comments on the chaos. But watching this specific group of people...
It was just a void of charisma.
I was just staring at the screen thinking, throw them all in the snow. Leave them there. Change the locks.
There are no answers. Only chaos. It was a dystopian fever dream funded by a podcast network.
Also, yes, we are drinking water. Because, babes, we have work right after this.
Our patients need us. Sober. Focused. Hydrated.
And honestly, we are still manifesting fast asses, slim waists, sugar daddies, so water it is.
The electrolytes are genuinely the only thing keeping my soul tethered to my physical body after witnessing whatever the hell that was.
Okay, if we had to make a show more chaotic than this, what are we creating?
Cast the messiest reality stars, absolute crash outs, concept, zero rules, maximum chaos.
Yes, but I want pure, unadulterated, consequence-free drama. I want the early 2000s VH1 era back.
Oh, the golden age.
I want people who do not have PR teams on speed dial. I want to lock them in a house with unlimited tequila, take away their phones, and let them operate purely on impulse and ego.
So you want anarchy.
No fake snowshoeing challenges, no undress to redress relay races, just vicious, alcohol-fueled interpersonal conflict.
I get that, but I actually want to add structure, which I think makes the psychological toll so much worse.
Wait, how could structure make it worse?
Because I want an environment of pervasive paranoia. If you get caught whispering off camera to protect your image, you lose your bed.
Oh my God, yes.
You have to sleep on a cot in the garage with the snowplows. If you fake cry to manipulate the narrative, the producers don't just cut away.
What do?
They play laugh track into the house speakers. You have to earn your way back into the house's good graces by reading your most embarrassing DM requests out loud.
Okay, wait, I actually love that. You want to strip away their influencer armor? You want to take away the curation that makes them so boring.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Because what we got with this show was a cast of people who are hyper-aware of the camera.
Yeah, they were producing themselves the whole time.
And when you are hyper-aware of the camera, you don't give us reality. You give us a heavily edited, PR-approved performance of reality, which is exactly what made this show so infuriating.
Well, we have so much to unpack there, but also we need to talk about merch. Babes, the embroidered Snark Squad scrubs. A moment.
And we've been wearing them to work, and baby's there a whole vibe.
So now we need to see you in them. Snark Squad, start sharing. We want to see this podcast in the wild.
Tag us, DM us, put them on your golden retrievers, wear them to the grocery store, just show us the scrubs.
All right, take a long, deep sip of that lemon lime water because we need to get into the mechanics of this recap.
I am so ready.
We have an entire hour to dissect the psychology, the production failures, and the sheer audacity of this cast, and I am practically vibrating with rage.
I can literally feel the energy coming off of you.
Let's start with the overarching atmosphere and the phantom presence of Alex Cooper.
Toast.
Snark Squad, I need us to analyze the sheer absurdity of how this show was structured. Alex Cooper, the architect of this madness, drops these Z-list, internet-famous personalities into a massive, freezing chalet in Park City, Utah.
Yeah, she literally just dumps them there.
She walks in, introduces the games, promises them $250,000, and then essentially treats the show like a group project where she does the title slide and then goes to sleep while everyone else does the work.
It's fascinating from a production standpoint. It's like a substitute teacher who rolls in the TV cart, presses play in a VHS tape of Bill Nye the Science Guy, and then goes to sleep at her desk.
While the students set the trash can on fire in the back row.
Exactly. She drops in for 30 seconds, yells at a guy with a mullet for breathing wrong, and then vanishes back to her empire.
She was just gone.
It creates this bizarre vacuum of authority.
Yeah.
Without a consistent host to guide the narrative or enforce the stakes, the inmates are literally running the asylum.
And the stakes. Let's go back to the prize money, because I am still not over it.
I will never be over it.
Alex stands there in her fabulous winter gear and says, I am going to put $250,000 down if one team can win all 8 rounds.
Which is an insane premise to begin with.
She drops this massive, life-changing sum, and then, during a completely arbitrary pop culture trivia game, someone misses a question.
One single question.
And immediately, the $250K is just off the table. Snatch, gone.
I literally gasped when that happened.
And the grand prize defaults to, like, fake plastic gold medals that look like they were purchased in bulk from Oriental Trading.
Oh, they definitely were?
And the losing team has to dress up as butlers and serve dinner. What the actual hell?
Let's break down the economics of that moment, because it's the most transparent production bait and switch I have ever witnessed.
Go off, please.
You do not tease $250,000 on a digital reality show unless you have ironclad insurance or a sponsor explicitly funding that payout. But the way the rules were structured, requiring a team of highly distracted, intoxicated influencers to win 8 consecutive rounds of varying games, statistically guaranteed the money would never be paid out.
It was rigged from the start.
They engineer the trivia game specifically as a kill switch for the budget. Oh, you thought Hillary Duff starred in Freaky Friday. So sorry, the $250K is gone. Enjoy your Party City Hunger Games.
Wait, I need to push back on that. Do you think Alex genuinely wanted to give it away and the cast was just too incompetent to win it? Or was the money never actually in the escrow account to begin with?
Oh, the money was never leaving the Unwell Network's bank account. If you want to give away a prize, you do point accumulation.
Like every other normal game show.
Exactly. You do a cumulative scoreboard where the winner takes the pod. You don't create an all-or-nothing sudden death scenario in round 3. That is a producer safety net. It was a phantom carrot dangled to make the trailer look high stakes.
That makes me so mad, especially when the challenges themselves were less Winter Olympics and more frat basement hazing.
So embarrassing.
You have Dylan stripping down to his boxer briefs in the middle of the freezing snow for the undress to redress relay.
Which, let's be honest, he was suspiciously efficient at.
He mentioned offhand that he used to be a dancer on a cruise ship, and the muscle memory was on full display. He had 3 layers of winter gear off in under 5 seconds.
The challenges were completely unhinged because of the juxtaposition of the cast members. You have Dylan treating it like an Olympic event, and then you pan over to Anna Delvey.
Oh my God, Anna Delvey.
Snark Squad, let's really think about the dystopian reality we are living in. Anna Delvey is a convicted fraudster.
Literally went to federal prison.
She is currently required by the federal government to wear an electronic monitoring device on her ankle. She has been under house arrest.
Right.
And yet, she has secured permission to travel to Park City, Utah to participate in the snowshoe shuffle while physically tethered to Nico.
It was high camp. Hallie is literally down on her hands and knees, speaking directly into Anna's blinking ankle monitor like it's a walkie-talkie to the FBI.
Yelling at the government.
Yelling, free our girl, release her. And Anna is just standing there in designer sunglasses, complaining that her aura is too powerful for the altitude.
It highlights the complete collapse of the barrier between infamy and celebrity.
Seriously.
10 years ago, an ankle monitor was a mark of absolute societal shame.
Hmm.
Today, on this show, it is essentially treated as a limited edition Balenciaga accessory. It's a prop for content.
And speaking of props for content, Juliet wins a pivotal $5,000 for her team by dominating a game of flip cup.
Of course she does.
She actually looks at the camera and says, "I never thought going to college and being at frat houses all day long would prepare me for this."
I mean, at least she's honest.
Babe, that is your entire resume. That is the foundational pillar of your personal brand.
But here's the thing about all these games, the snowshoeing, the trivia, the flip cup, they were entirely superfluous.
Yeah, they didn't matter.
They were just filler to justify the production budget. The actual show, the dark, compelling, horrific psychological study was happening off the ice.
The real games.
The true Unwell Winter Games happened in the bathrooms and the hot tubs.
Which brings us to the moment that fundamentally altered my brain chemistry. We have to dissect the Juliet and Cameron situation.
We really do.
Because I am still seething. My blood pressure is spiking just thinking about it.
It is arguably one of the most masterfully manipulative displays of white woman victimhood ever captured on camera, and we need to tear it apart frame by frame.
Snark Squad, if you somehow miss this nuclear fallout, let me set the scene. It is late at night. The main production cameras are allegedly down for the evening.
And let me just pause right there. What kind of amateur hour production does not have hard-rigged night vision cameras in the main living areas of a reality house?
I know.
The entire point of the genre is that the best drama happens at 3 a.m.
That proves your theory.
It proves my theory that this wasn't a real production. It was an influencer brand trip masquerading as a competition show. Real producers don't clock out at 10 p.m. when the tequila is still flowing.
Exactly. So the cameras are down, but the cast is still drinking. Juliet, Cameron, and a few others are taking shots.
Getting very messy.
Juliet gets incredibly, demonstrably intoxicated. And according to multiple witnesses, she looks at Cameron, a gay man who is just trying to exist in the space, and says, and I quote, "You're not the kind of gay guy that straight men would feel comfortable going to the bathroom with."
It's a staggering statement. Let's actually unpack the specific malice of that phrasing.
It's so gross.
She isn't just throwing a generic insult. She is invoking a deeply ingrained, highly predatory stereotype.
Yeah.
She's essentially accusing him of being a sexual threat to heterosexual men in a vulnerable space.
It's a classic homophobic dog whistle.
It is vile. And Cameron rightfully, absolutely loses his mind. He doesn't just take it.
Good for him.
He defends himself aggressively. He tells her, "I'm not a predator. I've been to the bathroom with every single straight man in this room.
Right.
For you to even insinuate that about me is low, it is disgusting, and it is homophobic."
He was entirely in the right. He draws a very clear, very hard boundary.
And this is where the psychological study begins. Because how does Juliet react the next morning when the sun comes up and the realization of what she said sets in?
She'll apologize.
She doesn't reflect. She doesn't show remorse. She executes a multi-step PR crisis management protocol that is breathtaking in its toxicity.
Step 1, weaponized amnesia. Cameron pulls her aside in the kitchen to clear the air. He calmly repeats exactly what she said to him.
And what does she do?
Juliet looks him dead in his eyes, doesn't even blink, and says, "Oh, I never said that. I have absolutely no memory of saying those words."
Which we know is a lie, because mere moments before Karen pulled her aside, she was bragging to the other girls that she actually didn't black out the night before.
She told everyone she remembered everything.
Exactly. She claimed she remembered everything. So you can't be fully lucid when talking to the girls and then suddenly have convenient, targeted amnesia the second a marginalized person holds you accountable for bigotry. Pick a lane, Juliet.
But I want to play devil's advocate for a second. Do you think she actually remembered and was maliciously lying? Or do you think her brain went into a genuine trauma response denial because she knew she was about to be canceled?
I don't buy the trauma response for a second.
Like, is she a Machiavellian genius or just a terrified girl who drank too much and panicked?
Oh, she is absolutely a PR tactician.
Yeah.
It wasn't a trauma response. It was a pivot. When she realizes Cameron is not backing down because he has witnesses who heard the comment, she shifts from step 1, denial, to step 2, gaslighting.
The tone shift was crazy.
She softens her voice, tilts her head, and says, "Well, maybe you just misunderstood something I said." She tries to make the victim responsible for his own victimization. "I didn't say it, but if I did, your ears heard it wrong."
It's infuriating. And then when gaslighting fails because Cameron is standing his ground, She finally moves to step 3, the non-apology.
The absolute worst kind of apology.
She says, I didn't mean to say anything to hurt your feelings. I was probably just making a stupid joke. Notice the language.
It's so calculated.
She doesn't say, I'm sorry I said a homophobic thing. She says, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. She is centering her intention rather than the impact of her actions.
It's the quintessential I'm sorry if you were offended maneuver. It takes zero accountability while technically checking the box of an apology.
It's disgusting.
And the craziest part of this entire interaction is that Cameron accepts it. He looks at her and says, I'm going to accept your apology because obviously things happened and we were drinking.
Which Cameron is a better person than me, quite frankly.
Way better.
Because if someone said that to me and then tried to gaslight me about it on camera, I would have dragged them by their extension out into the snowbank and left them for the wolves.
I would have helped you drag her.
But Cameron is exhausted. He just wants the conflict to end so he can survive the rest of the shoot. The beef is squashed. It is over.
But Juliet won't let it be over. And this is where the sequence elevates from standard reality TV drama into a masterclass on the historical weaponization of white woman tears.
Oh my God, the bathroom scene. I want to frame this scene and hang it in the Louvre of reality TV trash.
It belongs in a museum of terrible behavior.
Juliet realizes that even though Cameron forgave her, the rest of the house heard the rumor and they are giving her the side eye. Her image is fractured, so what does she do? She retreats to the bathroom with Huda and she begins to cry.
And we must use the word cry in the most heavily air-quoted, legally protected sense of the word.
There were no tears.
Because I analyzed that footage on a molecular level. I zoomed in on my 4K television. There was not a single drop of saline moisture present in that room. Her tear ducts were as barren as the Mojave Desert.
She is sitting there, aggressively dabbing at her completely dry, Botoxed face with a piece of 2-ply toilet paper, and she starts whining about how unfair everything is.
Just dabbing at nothing.
She says, I'm just so uncomfortable that everyone's been talking shit about me now. I'm not going to have any fun tonight.
Do you see the psychological flip? She says something incredibly offensive. She causes profound harm to a gay man. But within 12 hours, she has completely inverted the narrative so that she is the victim getting bullied by the mean housemates who are gossiping about her.
It's wild.
She completely centers her own emotional discomfort. She's not crying because she feels remorse for hurting Cameron. She is fake crying because she is facing the social consequences of her own actions.
It is the Darvo technique. Deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. She played it perfectly. And what made me scream at my television was Huda.
Oh, Huda?
Huda, who I usually respect, completely falls for it. Huda is sitting on the edge of the bathtub, coddling her, rubbing her shoulder, saying, I feel like you're getting bullied. I feel like you're a sweet person. People are just projecting.
It was so disappointing.
No, Huda, hold your friend accountable.
I will defend Huda slightly here, only because Huda has extensive experience in the reality TV crosshairs. Huda has been the villain on other shows.
It's true, she has.
She recognizes the mechanics of a house pile-on, and her instinct is to protect the person being isolated. But her empathy was entirely misplaced. She ended up validating Juliet's victim complex.
She enabled it.
Huda even leaves the bathroom, finds Cameron, and says, listen, we don't need to gang up on her. And Cameron is just looking at her like, I literally accepted her apology an hour ago. Who was ganging up on her?
It was exhausting. And just when I thought the female dynamics in that house couldn't get any darker, we are introduced to the villain that literally nobody asked for, nobody wanted, and nobody enjoyed watching.
Here we go.
We have to talk about Ikinsu.
Oh, the psychological density of Ikinsu's behavior in this house could fill a medical journal.
It was so dark.
The unprovoked, severe, relentless, internalized misogyny radiating off of this woman was actually alarming. It wasn't fun shade, it was dark.
She was a hater from minute one, for absolutely no discernible reason. She sits down with Cameron in the kitchen, unprompted, and just starts launching artillery at Juliet.
Just out of nowhere.
She calls Juliet easy. She says she's desperate for male validation. Cameron, who, mind you, actively dislikes Juliet at this point because of the homophobia, even has to pump the brakes.
He had to defend her.
He looks at Ikinsu and goes, whoa, what do you mean? I wouldn't call that girl easy.
When you are so aggressively hateful that you make Cameron, a man who was just the target of Juliet's bigotry, look like the voice of reason defending her honor, you have crossed a massive behavioral line.
It's actually insane.
And then Ikinsu drops a line that I had to rewind 3 times to ensure I heard correctly. She is dissecting Juliet's behavior, and she looks at Cameron and says, if I were a man, I'd get her really drunk and take advantage of her and leave her in the morning.
What? I threw my phone across the room. Who says that out loud?
Nobody with a functional moral compass.
Who even formulates that thought in their brain? That is not snark. That is foul. That is objectively, terrifyingly predatory language coming from a woman about another woman.
It is indicative of a profound scarcity mindset. Let's look at Ikensu's origins. She comes from the Love Island franchise. Right. Love Island is an ecosystem where women are literally pitted against each other for the survival of their tenure on the show. If a new, shiny girl enters the villa, your safety is threatened.
So she brought that baggage to Utah.
Ikensu has internalized that trauma to the point where she views every other woman in the room as an existential threat just for breathing the same air. She is the epitome of the, I'm not like other girls, I only hang out with guys because girls are too much drama archetype, which is always just a mask for deep insecurity.
But wait, do you think she actually believes the things she's saying, or is she just producing the show?
What do you mean?
Because she knows Alex Cooper is asleep at the wheel, so maybe Ikensu feels the need to manufacture conflict to ensure she gets screen time?
I think it's a toxic blend of both. She knows being polarizing gets you camera time, but the way she goes about it, tearing down women's bodies, reveals her true character.
Oh, the body shaming was awful.
At the end of the show, she literally surveys the women in the living room like an inspector. She looks at Demi and asks, in front of everyone, are your lips done? They look big. Do you get Botox in your forehead?
Who asks that in a group setting?
She isn't asking out of curiosity. She's asking to shame them. She's trying to dismantle their confidence piece by piece to elevate her own status.
And Juliet, to her absolute credit in this one specific instance, did not let Ikensu rattle her. Juliet just looked at her and said, yeah, my lips are done. I love filler. I need Botox.
Good for her.
Good for her for entirely disarming the shame tactic. But Ikensu's energy remained so bleak, she literally stood at the window and wished out loud for Huda and Louis to crash their snowmobile.
I couldn't believe she said that.
And when Hallie was standing outside in the freezing snow, shivering and complaining about the cold, Ikensu was inside calling her a miserable bitch.
Babe, they are on a mountain. It is below freezing. She is allowed to state that she is cold.
Ikensu thought she was delivering iconic reality TV villain moments. She thought she was giving us Tiffany New York Pollard. But she wasn't.
But she lacked the wit, the charisma, and the underlying wink to the audience that makes a villain iconic. Instead, she just came off as a bitter, deeply unhappy person who cannot stand the sight of other women finding joy.
Okay, we need to take a massive cleansing breath. Drink your lemon lime water, because we are about to descend into the darkest, most manipulative, psychologically complex corner of the Unwell Winter Games.
Yeah, exactly where you're going.
We need to dissect the toxic masculinity support group Dakota Mortensen and Gleb Savchenko.
The axis of evil, the modern panopticon in motion.
Snark Squad, if you are chronically online, like we are, you have been following the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives drama.
It's inescapable.
We all know the Taylor, Frankie Paul, and Dakota timeline. It is a sprawling, chaotic mess of cheating allegations, religious guilt, toxic codependency, and now literal domestic violence protective orders.
This really grim stuff.
Coming into the show, the entire internet was waiting to see if Dakota was going to get a bad edit. Everyone wanted to see him exposed, and honestly, the edit wasn't a hit job. But Dakota still managed to expose himself as a walking, talking, breathing red flag.
We have to analyze Dakota's strategy in this house because it is a masterclass in covert narcissism and the paralyzing fear of the internet comment section.
Break it down.
Dakota exists in what Jeremy Bentham called the panopticon, a prison where the inmates believe they are being watched at all times, so they regulate their own behavior. Dakota is terrified of Taylor's fan base.
He is so scared of TikTok.
He is terrified of TikTok. He is walking on eggshells the entire time, hyper-regulating his on-camera persona, trying to appear as the wounded, loyal, traumatized victim of a toxic relationship.
Yes. But his biological impulse to be a fuckboy is constantly at war with his PR strategy. Which leads us to the Hallie situation.
This was painful.
This was the most frustrating dynamic to watch. Hallie is clearly into him. She is throwing herself at him. They're sitting in the hot tub together for an hour and a half in the freezing cold.
Just marinating in there.
And Hallie is getting visibly annoyed because Dakota is just sitting on the exact opposite side of the tub, arms crossed, refusing to break the physical plane, just rambling about his feelings.
He refuses to touch her on camera. He is playing the devout, grieving ex-boyfriend.
But then The second the producers announce the cameras are going down for the night, what does he do? He sneaks upstairs with Hallie, into the dark, and aggressively makes out with her in secret.
This is the crux of his pathology.
Hmm.
He wants the validation and the physical gratification of the hookup, but he absolutely refuses to bear the accountability of being perceived doing it.
Exactly.
And when Hallie confronts him about it the next day while the cameras are rolling, she point-blank asks him, "Why wouldn't you just kiss me in the hot tub? Why all the secrecy?"
And his response?
And his response is one of the most pathetic, cowardly statements I have ever heard a man utter on television.
I wrote it down. He literally stammers and says, I didn't like dealing with all the repercussions. That, for me, come with that, because it is a lot and it's really overwhelming.
Repercussions. He isn't worried about Hallie's feelings. He isn't worried about his own emotional readiness. He is worried about his comment section.
He's worried about getting canceled again.
He is talking about the fallout from Vanderpump Villa. He is talking about the fear of Taylor Frankie Paul taking to TikTok Live to destroy him. He knows that if a video surfaces of him kissing a girl on a brand trip, his curated victim narrative collapses.
He is Schrodinger's fuckboy. He wants to be simultaneously single and ready to mingle in the dark, but deeply committed and emotionally unavailable in the light.
That is exactly what he is.
He tells Demi earlier in the day that he is in an exclusive situationship, probably with his ex, Emma, and that he is off the market. He tells Gleb he needs to be celibate and single for a full year to heal his heart, but his actions completely contradict his words.
And this brings us to the pool table scene, which is perhaps the most glaring display of hypocrisy in the history of the Unwell network.
I lost my actual mind watching that. Dakota is chalking his pool cue, acting like a sad cowboy in a country music video.
So dramatic.
He starts trauma dumping to Gleb about Taylor. He plays the ultimate victim card. He looks at Gleb and says, I never cheated on Taylor. I never touched another girl until she moved on.
Which is rich coming from him.
He claims that Taylor lied to him about hooking up with another guy and then slept with him right after. He literally whines, she lied to me, then had sex with me, then after tells me. I was like, what the fuck?
The absolute lack of self-awareness is staggering.
Yeah.
I need the Snark Squad to follow the logic here.
Follow it with us.
Dakota is furious and traumatized that Taylor allegedly hooked up with someone, lied by omission to maintain access to him, and lived a double life. Meanwhile, Dakota is currently on a reality television show claiming to be in an exclusive situationship back home, telling the house he is celibate, while secretly making out with Hallie in the unlit corridors of the chalet, specifically hiding it to avoid repercussions.
He is doing the exact same thing.
He is actively executing the exact same manipulative behavior that he is demonizing Taylor for.
He is a hypocrite of the highest order. And look, let's be very clear. We are not defending Taylor Frankie Paul.
Oh, definitely not.
We know she has profound issues. The domestic violence charges are a matter of public record, and their relationship was mutually radioactive. But the people online trying to infantilize Dakota and paint him as this helpless, innocent lamb being emotionally abused by a wicked witch are falling for his exact PR strategy.
They are buying the act.
Dakota is not a helpless victim. He is a highly calculated manipulator who uses his soft boy aesthetic to avoid accountability.
Exactly. He weaponizes his own anxiety.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so overwhelmed. Please don't hold me responsible for kissing you and then ignoring you. My nervous system can't handle it.
It's so transparent.
It's garbage. And the worst part is, Gleb is standing right there at the pool table, enabling the entire delusion.
Oh, Gleb. Gleb Savchenko, the referee and nobody asked for.
Why was he even there?
Gleb hears Dakota whining and decides this is the perfect opportunity to launch a completely unprovoked nuclear strike against his own ex-girlfriend. He literally cheers Dakota on, yells no toxic bitches, and then pivots the conversation to assassinate Brooks Nader's character.
Let's contextualize Gleb for a moment. He is a 40-something-year-old professional dancer from Dancing with the Stars. He's a grown man with children, a full adult. He dated Brooks Nader for roughly 7 months. That relationship detonated publicly because Brooks allegedly found indisputable evidence of him cheating on his phone. The internet dragged him. So he goes on this show, knowing the cameras are rolling, and decides to aggressively rewrite history.
It wasn't just rewriting history, it was character assassination. He stands at that pool table and tells the global audience that dating Brooks was pretty bad and that she was probably the worst sex of my life.
Unprovoked.
Unprovoked. Brooks isn't even on the show.
And he doesn't stop at sexual humiliation. He escalates it to criminal allegations. He claims that they were in a hotel, she got drunk, she wanted to be intimate, and when he rejected her, she physically assaulted him. He tells Dakota that she choked him, pushed him against a wall, and chipped his tooth.
The audacity of this man to sit there in his little winter sweater, acting like a traumatized survivor of a crazy, unhinged woman, when Brooks's entire timeline of events paints him as a gaslighting serial cheater.
He thinks we're stupid.
And throughout the episode, he keeps looking at the camera and repeating, "I didn't cheat. I actually did not. Babe, who are you trying to convince? Us or yourself?"
Seriously.
You are a known, documented serial cheater. You left your unlocked phone in an Uber and she saw the receipts. Do not come on Alex Cooper's snowy tax write-off and try to manipulate the jury.
It was so deeply gross. Both Dakota and Gleb thought they were producing a sympathetic moment. They thought, if we stand in this moody lighting play pool and talk about how women have wronged us, the audience will pity us and our comment sections will be healed.
They thought it was going to work.
But they fundamentally underestimated the intelligence of the modern reality TV viewer. We see the mechanics of the manipulation. We see the strings.
We see right through it. Which brings us to someone who has absolutely zero filter, zero strings, and zero boundaries. We need to pivot drastically. I need to talk about Team Demi and the Fruity Pebbles tea.
Oh, God.
Snark Squad, Lord have mercy on my soul. I actually screamed at my television screen. My neighbors probably thought I was being attacked.
The entire internet felt a collective tremor in the force when this scene aired.
Let us examine the context of this moment. Demi is sitting in the living room. She is surrounded by people she has known for, at maximum, 48 hours.
These are strangers.
Most of these people are essentially strangers or loose internet acquaintances. And without any prompting, without any natural segue, she just casually drops the most radioactive, trauma-dumb icebreaker I have ever witnessed.
She just threw it out there.
She literally says to the room, "I'm the Fruity Pebbles girl. Didn't you hear? I peed in my husband's mouth. I thought that was normal."
The sociological implications of this are staggering. Let's look at the reaction of the room. Time essentially stopped.
Everyone was frozen.
You are sitting next to Anna Delvey, a woman who went to federal prison for defrauding major financial institutions. And somehow, you are the one making the room uncomfortably tense because you are passionately defending golden showers over a bowl of sugary cereal.
I am dying. She literally doubled down. She looked at these stunned influencers and went, "There are golden showers and all these things." So I was actually shocked when the internet got mad about it.
It's unbelievable.
She proudly branded herself. She called herself the Pea Girl. Who leans into that branding?
Someone who understands the currency of the attention economy. Demi knows that in a house full of people trying to be the most famous, shock value is the fastest route to screen time.
It's all for the algorithm.
If you can't be the smartest or the most athletic, you have to be the most unhinged. She is trading her dignity for algorithmic engagement.
Well, it worked because I'm still talking about it. And as if the verbal confession wasn't enough, production decides to physically manifest this chaos in the makeout challenge. Because who suddenly appears from the frozen mist? Her husband, Brett.
This was a level of desperation I was not prepared for. Brett, a grown man with presumably a life and responsibilities, buys a plane ticket, flies all the way from Utah to Park City, and walks onto a soundstage solely to aggressively make out with his wife in front of a panel of 20-something TikTokers.
It was the most performative, deeply uncomfortable display of territorial affection I've ever seen. They get up on the little podium and they don't just kiss, they are devouring each other.
It was bordering on a porno.
It was sloppy, it was aggressive, and it was entirely for the cameras. And the best part, the absolute cinematic peak of the episode, is Cameron's reaction.
Cameron judging the challenge was the only time the show felt correctly cast.
Cameron is sitting there in his winter gear, holding a clipboard, looking completely repulsed by this heterosexual mating ritual.
He was so disgusted.
And when Brett and Demi finally unlatch from each other, Cameron looks at his scorecard and goes, "I'm deducting points." It was supposed to be two girls kissing, and we didn't get that. I'm pretty bummed out about that.
It was poetry. Brett flew across state lines, abandoned his dignity, swapped saliva on national television just to lose the challenge because the gay judge was annoyed they weren't lesbians. You cannot script comedy that perfect.
It's also just fundamentally pathetic on Brett's part. Like, bro, please get a hobby, go build a birdhouse, stop following your wife to her influencer gigs just to mark your territory like a golden retriever.
Ugh, speaking of pathetic, we have to address the elephant in the room who kept demanding we look at him. Louis.
Fuck Louis. I am sorry, I know he has fans, but he is fundamentally the most dramatic, annoying energy vampire I have seen on a screen in years.
His entire presence was an exercise in main character syndrome. He He was terrified of not being the focal point of every single frame.
Yes. Let's analyze his performance in the Wipeout Challenge. The objective is simple. Slide down a snowy hill.
Very basic stuff.
What does Louis do? He hurls himself down the hill, contorts his body, flips over aggressively, and then lays at the bottom of the slope moaning like he has been shot by a sniper.
He was rolling around like a soccer player.
He fakes a severe, paralyzing spinal injury. He is laying there pretending his tailbone is shattered, causing a momentary panic just to win sympathy points from the judges. And then he pops up and literally tells the camera, "I know how to sell it."
So desperate.
He's an attention sponge. He will fake medical trauma for a point.
And his psychological defense mechanism for being annoying is so transparent. During the roast-off, he literally grabs the microphone and tells the room, "I have daddy issues. Do you see how much attention I want all the time?" That's called childhood trauma.
I hate that. I hate the modern trend where people think that if they self-diagnose their toxic traits, it gives them a free pass to continue exhibiting them.
It doesn't excuse anything.
Being self-aware that you are an exhausting narcissist doesn't make it cute. It doesn't make it endearing. You're still exhausting, Louis. We still have to deal with you.
It's the weaponization of therapy speak. I'm not annoying, I'm healing. No, Louis, you are interrupting the game to ask the producers if aliens can abduct you.
Which brings us finally to the finale, the roast-off and the butler dinner. We have to break this down because despite all the structural failures of the show, this sequence was a cinematic masterpiece of cringe and karma.
The roast-off was fascinating because it was the only challenge that actually carried emotional weight. 3 points were on the line. It all came down to a verbal spar between Cameron and Hunter.
And Cameron orchestrated a bloodbath. He gets up there to the microphone and he does not hold back. He surveys the room and verbally decimates them. He calls them all fake.
He went for the jugular.
He looks at the influencers and says, "Money can buy lip filler, but it can't buy a brain." He goes directly after Anna Delvey for stealing from banks. He goes after Juliet for her dry, fake crying in the bathroom. He is dropping bombs.
And then it is Hunter's turn for a rebuttal. And the entire room is waiting for Hunter to clap back.
And Hunter completely catastrophically chokes. His brain short circuits. He looks at Cameron, tries to sound intimidating, and stumbles through the line. "You look like you run your finger under sentences to read them. I can't explain it in crayons."
First of all, that is a stolen joke. I have seen that exact insult on Twitter since 2014.
It's an old meme.
If you were going to insult someone on microphone, at least hire a ghostwriter. Second of all, his delivery was so weak, so trembling, that it completely deflated the insult.
And Cameron, who possesses the reflex speed of a cobra, immediately fires back into the microphone. "You look like you're still learning the alphabet, honey."
Boom. Game over. Pack it up. Put the chairs on the tables. Team Purple wins.
And the penalty for Team Blue is that they have to dress in full, humiliating butler attire and serve Team Purple a private chef dinner.
The Butler dinner was actually the only time the show fulfilled the promise of its premise. Seeing these ego-driven, highly curated internet personalities stripped of their cool clothes, forced to wear little vests and carry serving trays while their rivals actively belittled them and rang a tiny silver bill to demand more water, it was exquisite schadenfreude.
But the absolute cherry on top, the moment that made me physically fall out of my chair and scream into a throw pillow, was the surprise guest at the very end. The door opens and in walks Lisa Barlow.
Iconic.
Lisa freaking Barlow from The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, carrying a tray of Vita tequila cocktails.
The juxtaposition was incredible. You have this cast of amateur, struggling TikTokers, and suddenly actual bona fide reality TV royalty enters the room.
Cameron completely lost his mind. He has an absolute on-screen freak out, fangirling over her, screaming, and babes, same. I would have dropped my knees on that sticky floor for Baby Gorgeous.
Honestly, who wouldn't?
It was the only genuinely joyful, pure moment in 4 episodes of unmitigated toxicity.
All right, take a breath. We need to transition our analytical framework into our core segments because we have so much more shade to throw. We need to synthesize the chaos. Let's get into segment 1, the most unhinged moment.
Yes. In a show where the baseline reality was entirely fractured, what were the moments that made the absolute least sense? Let's hear your top 3. Let's be messy.
I'll start. Number 1, without a doubt, is the evaporating $250K prize. As someone who studies the mechanics of television production, it is the most egregious, insulting failure I've ever seen on screen.
It was just a slap in the face.
You cannot tease $250,000 to build your audience retention and then execute a bait and switch in episode 3 over a trivia question. It proves they never had the budget. It proves the entire economic foundation of the show was a lie.
They gave them plastic medals from Amazon. It was humiliating.
Exactly. Number 2 for me, Gleb's unprovoked slander campaign against Brooks Nader. It wasn't just messy drama, it was calculated, malicious character assassination.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
He recognized the cameras were his tool, he knew his reputation was in the gutter, and he tried to destroy a woman's public image to salvage his own EO. It was dark. And number 3, Ikinsu aggressively holding Louis' hand on the ice rink right in front of Huda.
Oh my God, the ice rink.
It was such a transparent, desperate attempt to bait a storyline. Ikinsu wanted the jealous girlfriend explodes narrative. She wanted Huda to yell at her so she could play the victim.
But Huda didn't budge.
And the brilliance of Huda was that she gave Ikinsu absolutely nothing. Huda just sat on the sidelines, completely unbothered, while Ikinsu awkwardly slid around the ice, dragging another woman's boyfriend by the mitten.
Huda was just sipping her drink like, whatever, let him pull you across the frozen pond. I truly do not care. Huda's refusal to participate in the produced drama was the ultimate power move.
What are your top 3 unhinged moments?
Okay, my top 3. Number 1, obviously, is Demi's Fruity Pebbles trauma dump. We unpacked it, but I cannot state enough how fundamentally bizarre it is to introduce yourself to a convicted felon by discussing golden showers. Read the room, Demi.
It is a severe lack of boundary awareness masquerading as authenticity.
Perfectly stated.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, Juliet's dry-eyed bathroom crying session. I have watched thousands of hours of reality television. I have seen the greats fake cry. I have seen Tom Sandoval squeeze his eyes until he burst blood vessels trying to produce a tear.
The Sandoval effort was legendary.
But Juliet dabbing a bone-dry cheek with tissue while claiming she is the victim of bullying after making a homophobic comment. It was a masterclass in sociopathic PR.
The tissue was acting as a prop to signal sadness because her body refused to actually produce it. And you're number 3.
Number 3, Andrew the bartender. Snark Squad, I spiraled over this for an hour. Who is Andrew?
I completely forgot about Andrew.
He is allegedly a production assistant or a bartender hired for the catering team. He has like 300 Instagram followers, and somehow by episode 3, he has breached the containment zone.
You just slipped right in.
He is fully integrated into the cast. He is sleeping in Hallie's bed. He is wearing a giant Cruella de Vil fur coat and sunglasses indoors. He is doing formal confessional interviews. How did a random cater waiter end up acting like a top-billed cast member?
It is the most impressive, opportunistic clout chasing I have ever witnessed. The fourth wall completely disintegrated.
It was gone.
The prevailing theory on Reddit is that Alex Cooper realized the cast was giving her nothing usable, so she literally pointed at the bartender mid-shoot and yelled, "Get a mic on him, he's in the show now." And Andrew just ran with it. He sees the means of production. He will probably have his own podcast on the network by Q3. It's embarrassing for the actual cast.
It is so embarrassing. If a PA is outperforming you, you need to reevaluate your career as an influencer, which is the perfect segue into segment 2, worst cast member, who gave absolutely nothing or way too much.
Let's lay out our verdicts. Who are your top 3 offenders?
Number 1, Louis. He gave way too much of the wrong energy. He was so desperate for a viral moment that it became physically painful to watch him operate.
Painful is the exact word.
The fake falling, the constant yelling over people, the exhausting desperation. He is the guy at the party who thinks he is doing stand-up comedy, but everyone in the room is secretly texting their friends, trying to figure out an excuse to leave.
He was begging to be abducted by aliens on camera. He was just throwing wet paper towels on the wall, hoping one would stick and become a TikTok sound.
Yes. Number 2, Ikinsu. She gave absolute unfiltered hater energy. The vile comments about the other women's bodies, calling Juliet easy, policing the Botox in the room.
She brought down the whole house.
She brought no humor, no camp, no fun, just pure, dark, internalized misogyny. She was a black hole that sucked the joy out of every room she entered.
She was actively detrimental to the vibe of the house. And you're number 3.
Number 3, Dakota. He gave exactly what we expected from his Secret Lives reputation, but somehow the execution made it worse. The constant woe is me victim act, while he is actively deceiving and manipulating the women off camera. He wants the audience to weep for his broken heart while he's sneaking around in the dark.
I agree completely. And Dakota's actually my number 3 as well.
Yeah.
Let me add another layer to why his behavior is so abhorrent. His manipulation tactics are insidious because they are cloaked in vulnerability.
Say more about that.
He uses his past trauma as a hall pass to avoid current accountability. He acts like a wounded bird, telling Hallie he is overwhelmed, which forces her to comfort him rather than hold him accountable for leading her on. It is textbook covert narcissism.
Bingo. He makes you feel bad for asking him to be a decent person. Who else is on your worst list?
Number 2, Juliet. The homophobia was bad enough, but the sheer lack of accountability, the gaslighting of Cameron, and the immediate deployment of white woman tears to center herself as the true victim, it was repulsive. It showed a character flaw that goes way beyond reality TV drama.
And again, no tears. Dry as the Sahara.
And my number 1 worst cast member, the absolute bottom of the barrel, Gleb. Why was he even issued a plane ticket?
Literally, why?
He wasn't a contestant. He didn't compete. He was brought in as a referee, which basically meant he stood around looking smug, wearing turtlenecks, and using his screen time exclusively to slander his ex-girlfriend. He contributed 0 entertainment value and simply used the platform for malicious character assassination. Throw him away. Throw the entire cast in the municipal dump.
Throw the whole damn cast away. Which brings us perfectly into segment 3, if we produce this show. Because obviously the Unwell Winter Games was a structural disaster. How do we fix it?
If you hand us the keys to the production company tomorrow, what is your first executive order?
First of all, as we established, the cast is fired. All of them. My vision. We need real, authentic villains.
They need real mess.
The problem with this influencer to reality TV pipeline is that these people are too heavily media trained by their agents. They kiss off camera to avoid repercussions. They fake cry to manipulate the edit. No more. I want to cast people who genuinely do not care about their public relations strategy.
You want chaos.
I want the raw, unfiltered garbage fires of the early 2000s. I want people throwing drinks in faces. I want actual vocal screaming matches in the living room, not passive-aggressive whispering in the bathroom. Bring back the unapologetic trash of reality television.
I understand the nostalgia for that era, but I think the landscape has changed too much. You want pure chaos, but I want absolute draconian control. If I am producing this show, I am instituting psychological stakes designed to break their influencer facades. I am setting behavioral traps.
No kind of traps.
If you get caught whispering off camera to hide a storyline, you are penalized instantly. You lose your bed or your luggage is confiscated for 48 hours.
That is brutal.
If you say something offensive, like Juliet, and then try to deny it the next morning, I am not waiting for the reunion episode. I am dropping a projector screen in the middle of the living room, gathering the cast, and rolling the unedited footage of you saying it for everyone to see. No escaping the truth.
Oh my God.
If you fake cry, you get locked outside in the snow until you admit you are manipulating the group. I want a highly structured, inescapable psychological pressure cooker.
That is so dark. You literally want to mentally torture them for our amusement. I just want them to get drunk and fight over a bunk bed.
But the psychological torture is exactly what produces the authentic fights. If you strip away their ability to hide off camera and curate their image, their true, messy selves will inevitably explode on camera.
Okay, that is a fair point. But examining Alex Cooper's absolute lack of structure leads us right into segment 4, reality TV or social experiment. Snark Squad, we have to ask the existential question, was this even a show?
It genuinely felt less like a television program and more like an existential crisis captured on digital film.
I had profound existential dread watching this. Think about it. It had no overarching plot. It had no narrative arc. The prize money vanished into the ether. The rules for the games changed every 5 minutes depending on who was hosting.
It was a fever dream.
It literally felt like Alex Cooper trapped a bunch of TikTokers, a middle-aged ballroom dancer, and a convicted fraudster wearing a government tracking device in a house just to see how long it would take for their brains to liquefy.
I think you are giving the production company way too much credit. You were looking for a deep psychological motive where there is only capitalism. I don't think this was a social experiment. I don't even think it was reality TV. I think this was a corporate tax write-off.
Wait, a tax write-off. Elaborate on this immediately.
Think about the logistics. There is zero narrative structure. The producers clearly did not plan the logistics of the games. They magically ran out of budget for the prize money. They forgot, or chose not to, put cameras in the bedrooms, meaning all the actual interpersonal drama happened entirely off-screen.
That is so true.
This was not a television production. This was Alex Cooper realizing she needed to offset some corporate revenue, renting a massive chalet, flying in some polarizing influencers, securing few liquor sponsorships, and writing the entire weekend off as a business expense. The show we watched was just the cobbled-together B-roll of a brand trip.
Oh my God, it makes so much sense. The scales have fallen from my eyes. Hey guys, want a free ski trip to Utah? Just play Flip Cup in the snow for 3 hours and we'll call it a winter game. It is the scam of the century. And Anna Delvey was right there to witness it.
She was probably taking notes. She respected the hustle.
I am dead. I am deceased. Babes, we're at the end of this journey, and I am still so fundamentally unwell.
Before we officially wrap, I want to leave everyone with one final overarching thought to chew on. Something we haven't explicitly named yet, but that this entire mess illustrates perfectly. I want the Snark Squad to think about this. Is the influencer to reality TV pipeline actually ruining the genre of reality TV?
Oh, wait. Let's really unpack that. What do you mean?
Look at how this cast behaved. Because they all originated on TikTok or Instagram, they are hyper-aware of their comment sections. They are terrified of being canceled, so they refuse to be authentic villains anymore.
They play it too safe.
Instead of owning their messiness, they kiss off camera to protect their curated situationships. They fake cry to manipulate the audience's sympathy. They aggressively manage their PR in real time. They aren't living in reality, they are producing themselves. Are the days of raw, unhinged, unapologetic early 2000s reality TV dead forever? Because if the Unwell Winter Games is the blueprint for the future, the genre is in serious trouble.
That is a terrifying thought. And honestly, looking at Dakota's cowardice and Juliet's manipulation, you might be completely right. We are no longer watching reality. We are living in the era of the curated crash out.
Exactly. It's performative messiness devoid of actual authenticity.
Well, Snark Squad, we made it through. Confused, hydrated, pre-work chaos.
Did you understand this show? Who was the worst cast member?
Rate, review, subscribe, send us your messy stories.
Share this with a confused friend. Thank the Snark Squad.
Stay soaked.
Stay shook.
And we'll see you on the snark side.